In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, anger often feels like an old companion, always lurking nearby, ready to burst forth at a moment's notice. It arrives swiftly and stubbornly refuses to leave. But what if I told you that the key to mastering anger isn't about suppressing it, but about learning the powerful art of delay? Imagine embarking on a journey of self-discovery and emotional mastery. Today, we delve into an age-old wisdom. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. These words, first spoken by the Roman philosopher Seneca nearly 2 millennia ago, hold the potential to transform our lives even today. But why should we care about managing anger? Why not just let it flow freely? The answer is simple. Uncontrolled anger is like wildfire. It destroys relationships, harms our health, and leaves behind a trail of regrets. Yet, anger itself isn't the enemy. It's a natural human emotion that signals something important is at stake. The real challenge lies in how we respond. This is where the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers powerful guidance. Stoics taught that while we cannot control what happens to us, we have complete control over how we respond. In the space between stimulus and response lies our greatest power, the power to choose. Mastering anger isn't about burying it deep inside. It's about giving ourselves a moment to pause, reflect, and choose a wise response. Let's explore this through the stories of three people, Sarah, Michael, and Alex, who each face unique challenges that test their patience and trigger anger. Sarah is a high-powered executive constantly balancing countless responsibilities. In a meeting, she feels anger rising as a colleague presents an unprepared report. The old Sarah would have reacted impulsively, criticizing the colleague in front of the team. But Sarah has learned the art of delay. At that moment, she recalls the words of Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." She pauses and asks herself three powerful questions. This brief pause allows Sarah to transform her anger into a constructive conversation, turning a potential conflict into an opportunity for growth and improvement. Michael faces a different challenge as a high school teacher. During class, a student is disruptive and disrespectful. Anger wells up, but Michael remembers the wisdom of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it. That matters. He pauses and reflects. This brief delay helps Michael respond with empathy and understanding, transforming a potential conflict into a meaningful learning experience. Alex faces the challenges of parenting, which often test patience to the limit. In a grocery store, Alex's child throws a tantrum. Embarrassment and anger surge, but Alex remembers a Stoic teaching. He who does not preserve his calmness amidst anger is not wise. Alex takes a deep breath and considers. By creating a pause, Alex responds with compassion, meeting the child's needs instead of reacting emotionally. When anger flares, the brain's amygdala triggers stress hormones, preparing us for fight or flight. But this ancient survival mechanism doesn't serve us well in modern life. By consciously delaying our reaction, we activate the prefrontal cortex, the brain's center for rational thought and decision-making. This shift allows us to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. The goal isn't to never feel anger. Anger is natural and sometimes necessary. The objective is to create a space between the trigger and our response, a moment where wisdom can enter. In this space, we can choose how to act, aligning our behavior with our values rather than our immediate emotions. Just like Sarah, Michael, and Alex, you too can learn the art of delay. This practice allows you to transform anger into understanding, conflict into opportunity, and impulsive reactions into wise responses. So, the next time anger knocks at your door, don't suppress it. Instead, take a moment to pause. Embrace the delay, and in that space, find the power to choose your response. This is the true mastery of anger, one thoughtful decision at a time. Start practicing the art of delay today, and watch how it transforms your relationships, your well-being, and your life. Harnessing the power of the pause, transforming anger into strength. Imagine this. A dedicated high school teacher, Michael, faces a student who repeatedly disrupts his class, testing his patience. He feels his anger rising, but instead of lashing out, he steps into the hallway, closes his eyes, and takes 4 deep, measured breaths, box breathing. In just 64 seconds, he regains his clarity and calm. When he returns, he addresses the student's behavior with firm but compassionate guidance, turning a moment of frustration into a valuable lesson. Meanwhile, Alex, a devoted stay-at-home parent, faces yet another chaotic day. As they finally finish cleaning the floor, their child, spills juice everywhere. In the past, this might have been the last straw. But today, Alex pauses, breathes, and asks, what would a wise parent do? Instead of reacting with frustration, they turn the cleanup into a playful game, teaching responsibility while keeping peace in the home. These real-life moments reveal a powerful truth. Delaying anger isn't about suppressing it, it's about transforming it. But what about those times when the anger feels too strong, too justified to hold back? That's when we must look deeper. Most anger isn't just about the immediate trigger. It often stems from deeper unmet needs, feeling disrespected, powerless, or unheard. When frustration rises, take a pause and ask. Ancient wisdom teaches us that it's not events that disturb us, but our perception of them. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it simply: people are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. By delaying our initial reaction, we reclaim the power to choose how we see and respond to life's challenges. Think of a recent moment that made you angry. Now mentally rewind and try this exercise. This isn't about guilt. It's about training your mind to create space before reacting. Delaying anger doesn't mean being passive. On the contrary, it makes us stronger. True power lies in responding with clarity, not rage. When we act from a place of calm control, our words carry more weight, our boundaries are clearer, and our relationships strengthen. As Marcus Aurelius said, the nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Sarah, a manager, had to address a team member who constantly missed deadlines. In the past, she might have exploded in frustration, but instead she paused, collected her thoughts, and had a clear, focused conversation. Instead of resentment, she fostered improvement. Michael, the teacher, faced an angry parent upset about their child's grades. Instead of becoming defensive, he asked himself, what's really behind their anger? Realizing it came from concern, he responded with empathy, turning conflict into collaboration. Alex had a neighbor whose dog's constant barking disturbed their child's naps. Instead of angrily confronting them, Alex paused and approached the situation calmly. This led to a productive conversation, where they discovered the dog had separation anxiety. Together, they found a solution, strengthening their neighborly bond instead of breaking it. But what about those times when anger surges before we can stop it? That's where mindfulness comes in. Regularly checking in with our emotions helps us catch anger early. A simple practice, mastering the pause, isn't a one-time achievement, it's a lifelong practice. There will be days you succeed in delaying your anger, and days it gets the best of you. What matters is how you grow from each experience. Epictetus reminds us, we should not be angry with ourselves when we fail, but should keep educating ourselves without hostility. Each time you delay an angry reaction, even for a second, you strengthen your ability to choose how you respond to life. This is the path to true power, not the fleeting satisfaction of an outburst, but the lasting strength of a composed, wise, and deliberate mind. Are you ready to take the first step? I encourage you to start viewing every instance of anger as an opportunity, a chance to refine the art of delay. Begin with small steps. Even a few seconds of pause before reacting can be transformative. Over time, those brief pauses will extend, giving you more space to make thoughtful choices in how you respond. Remember the wise words of Seneca: the greatest remedy for anger is delay. This powerful truth reveals that within each of us lies the ability to reshape our relationship with anger. By mastering the art of delay, we not only prevent the destructive consequences of unchecked rage, but we also open the door to more compassionate, thoughtful, and effective ways of engaging with others and the world. The next time anger begins to rise, take a deep breath. Create that moment of space, just a second or two between the trigger and your response. In that precious moment, you will discover your ability to choose, to respond, not react, to understand, not judge, to transform, not destroy. This is the true power of delay, a power that resides within all of us. As you leave this reflection, I urge you to carry with you new tools and a fresh perspective on anger. See it not as an adversary, but as a messenger to listen to. After a thoughtful delay, you might discover that anger isn't a source of regret, but a catalyst for growth, understanding, and positive change. Mastering anger through delay is a lifelong journey, one that leads to peace, stronger relationships, and a deeper understanding of both ourselves and others. So take the first step. Create that first pause and discover the strength and wisdom that lie within you. Now let's reflect on how we can integrate this powerful practice into the fabric of our daily lives. One of the most effective ways to reinforce the habit of delay is through daily reflection, a practice known as the Stoic evening review. Each night, reflect on your actions, particularly how you handled challenging moments. Ask yourself. By asking these questions, you train your mind to be more aware of anger-inducing situations and consistently reinforce the value of creating that pause. Over time, that space between stimulus and response will become automatic. But what about those moments when anger feels justified, when we face genuine wrongs or injustice? This is where the Stoic idea of righteous anger comes into play. The Stoics believe that while there could be a time for anger, it must be controlled, proportionate, and directed toward addressing real injustice. However, even in these cases, delay is crucial. As Seneca wisely advised, anger, even when justified, should never be expressed in private. Wait for witnesses before manifesting it. This pause allows us to ensure that our anger is truly justified, to formulate a more thoughtful response, and to express our concerns in a way that fosters positive change. Look to historical figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela, who transformed their righteous anger into powerful, nonviolent action. Their example shows us how delay can turn anger from a destructive force into a catalyst for social justice. As we practice the art of delay, we start to see anger not as something that controls us, but as valuable information, an alert that something in our environment requires our attention. By applying the Stoic principle of assent, we examine our initial impressions and ask whether the anger is serving us or if there's a more constructive path forward. Consistent practice of this mindset cultivates sophrosyne, a state of moderation and self-control. This doesn't mean we'll never feel anger again. It means we'll have the wisdom to know when it's appropriate and the self-control to express it in a way that serves us, not harms us. Let's reflect on the stories of Sarah, Michael, and Alex. Sarah has found that her practice of delay has enriched both her professional and personal life. By pausing before reacting to her partner's remarks, she has built stronger, more understanding relationships. Michael, a teacher, has noticed improved behavior in his classroom after incorporating mindfulness and the art of delay into his teaching. Alex, practicing delay in daily life, finds more joy in his parenting and has more energy for personal pursuits. These stories remind us that mastering the art of delay isn't about avoiding the consequences of anger. It's about creating space for more positive, fulfilling experiences. It's not just about avoiding mistakes. It's about opening the door to better outcomes and deeper connections. As we conclude this chapter, remember that mastering the art of delay is not about perfection. There will still be moments when anger overpowers us, when we react before we can pause. But the key is patience with ourselves. Each encounter with anger is an opportunity to practice, learn, and grow. In the words of Epictetus, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. By striving to respond with wisdom, rather than anger, we set ourselves on a path of continuous growth and self-improvement. So as you move forward, I invite you to commit to creating that tiny space between stimulus and response. That moment of pause, no matter how small, can transform your life. Over time, as you refine this practice, those small pauses will extend, giving you the power to respond wisely, to understand deeply, and to grow rather than destroy. Remember, the power to transform your relationship with anger lies within you, in that space between stimulus and response. In that moment of delay, you'll find your freedom. Thank you for joining this journey. May you now wield the power of delay with wisdom and grace, and find new strength in your responses to the challenges life throws at you.